if you've got a limited budget and you're planning to do it as a self-builder where you're managing individual trades, we design a house to that, but then halfway through the project you decide, well, actually I can't put enough time into self-manage it. That budget might have gone up for exactly the same house by 20%. So we really need to understand what we're doing, how we're going to be involved, and where we can go from that. Budget is a massive thing. A lot of architects get criticised for designing things that are too expensive. I usually push back and say, well, did you know how much you had in the first place? Had you spoken to Buildstore or looked at your finance options? Did you know where the money was coming from as well? So that massively impacts cash flow. So budget is vitally important that we understand that before we start anything. Timescales as well. Don't just pick Christmas Day as a moving in date, because you'll just end up ruining Christmas. The what and the how are easy. We know that. We know what we're doing, how we're going to do it. Your why is specific to you. So you might be a self-builder who's got a young family and want to create something that's exciting and energy efficient and that will inspire your kids. So that's slightly different to when we're working with a developer who wants to do something at speed, at pace, to be able to move it on. So your why is really important to you. We always expect to get information from clients, sketches. You can download Google SketchUp and have a bit of fun. So again, this is a really good tool for existing buildings. You can measure it, you can design it out, and then look at what the implications are going to be. I'm a big fan of Lego. Anybody that knows me knows around our office, we've got lots of Lego. I arrived at a project down on the south coast and was handed this plastic Lego building. They said they wanted it slightly bigger and less plasticky, so they've got it now. But it's all about using tools to be able to understand what it is that you want. Pinterest is a massive tool. It's just an online scrapbook, but the benefit is that you can create boards that you can then share with your individuals and with your design team, and get an idea into your head what it is that you like. And it's great for inspiration, but also sharing that. Please, husband and wife, partners, do this together. It's really important that it's one consensus of what it is that we're designing to. So we've done a lot of work on what it is that we want. It's vitally important, more so now because budgets are squeezed and cost of everything is more expensive, that we don't make mistakes that are going to cost us or waste us money. And we see this all the time when we take over projects where they might have gone with somebody cheaper to do the initial design, and we come in for building regs as a modern methods construction specialist. Or when I'm getting to do Ask the Expert for Home Building Renovate magazine, I get to see lots of people's drawings, and I see mistakes that are adding cost but not adding any value. So one example of that is floor to ceiling heights. If you've not specifically asked your architect to have a higher floor to ceiling height, and you see on your cross section that it says 2480, for argument's sake, 2.4 meters with 80 millimeters on top, that 80 millimeters is coming from another piece of plasterboard, because surprise, surprise, standard materials are 2.4 high, and that's our standard floor to ceiling height. So if you've not asked for that, that's 80 millimeters of plasterboard all the way around the building that's getting added in. That's just wasted money that you'll never see the value of. The image on the screen is one of our clients' houses in Gleneagles. It's a lovely home. He wanted to have a fully timber-clad building, and he wanted to have a play between the vertical and the horizontal. And our client was fully aware that adding on the vertical timber is more expensive than the horizontal, because at the back of the horizontal there's vertical battens that fit it. On the vertical timber there's vertical battens and then horizontal battens. So there was twice as much timber to support the vertical element, which came in at about £5,000 on that element comparatively. So that could be an ensuite cost, or it could be your utility room cost, or it could be a kitchen. So if you don't know these things, people are letting themselves into areas where they're just not going to be able to afford those wow features that they want to do. So be mindful of all the decisions that you're making at the very outset with your designers, with your engineers, that they cost money. Everything costs money on the project. So we need to support ourselves once we've thought about the things that we want to do. We've thought about how we can do them as clever as possible. We want to support ourselves with the best team that we have. Now, I'm a chartered architect. We appoint architects, technicians, technologists, passive house experts, engineers, everything in between. To me, it's not about the title. It's about the skill set, the level of experience, and what they bring to your project. So I'll use the word architect, but it's the same as architectural designers. I'll talk a little bit about finding the right people, but you're going to need a whole list of people to support you. Big thing on here, architects don't cost buildings, quantity surveyors do. So we will design to a budget, but it's down to quantity surveyor to have a look at that and check that you can actually afford it. Okay. Lots of different consultants you need. You will need an architect or a designer. You will need a structural engineer. They're the basic level to get you through things. Under CDM 2015, Construction Design Management Act, and for the HSE guidance, you must have a principal designer working for you and a principal contractor. So it's something that's non-negotiable. So you must do this. And if an architect's speaking to you and they're not mentioning this from the outset, they've failed you already. So please make sure that if you take one thing away from this talk, that you administer your CDM 2015 client responsibilities. So when we are actually engaging with companies to get quotes, please make sure that you get fixed costs, not percentages of construction costs. That's the old way of doing things. Everybody should be able to estimate how much your project's going to take. We've done over 550 projects now. We're very data driven. We know how long it's going to take for our projects. When you're speaking to people, get references, get testimonials, go and see their projects, go and ask. Let's go and see the work that's finished, but also the work that's on site. Understand where the problems have been, how they fixed them. And don't be anybody's guinea pig. If you're wanting to do something low energy, passive house, you're a self-builder, speak to companies that do that. You're a different type of client with a different set of requirements. So as I say, don't be anybody's guinea pig for a project.